97underground.com.
Hey folks, Michael Spedden here, host of The Back of the Rack on 97underground.com, Baltimore's Pure Rock Worldwide, and welcome to the 97 Underground Michael Spedden interview page, where we feature interviews with all the best local and national acts. Remember folks, The Back of the Rack on 97underground.com can be heard every Tuesday from 2 to 4 p.m. Download the free app and listen anytime, anywhere. And enjoy our interviews, folks. Remember, shop small and support local homegrown original music. Now, on with the interview. Hey folks, Michael Spedden here, and welcome back to The Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show here on 97underground.com, Baltimore's Pure Rock Worldwide. Today, Shannon Larkin will join us, and Shannon was on the show. He was talking about, what didn't he talk about? We had a great interview. He is now performing with the Bees. That is Bob Pare. We have Brad Divens. We have Shannon, of course, and we have Brian Forsythe. The Bees, and they're going to be performing at Hub City Vinyl in Hagerstown on June 27th. They'll be playing with Gastem out there, and we talked about all kinds of great things today. Shannon is full of great stories, talking a bit about Godsmack, talking a bit about his time in Wrathchild America, talked a bit about Ugly Kid Joe. All kinds of things. I really enjoyed speaking with him today. He was a great guest, and I think you'll enjoy the interview too. Shannon has a project called Spirit Wheel, which is available online. A new album with him, with all kinds of his friends and people he's played with over the years contributing to it. He also has a live stream, Shannon Larkin's live spirit stream, on Friday nights from 7 to 9. Another project he has is called Another Animal. And his YouTube channel, Shannon Larkin's Inside Skinny Productions. You can find that on YouTube. So be sure to check it out. The Bees also have a song on iTunes, so you want to check that out as well. So without further ado, and this is a good interview, folks, without further ado, I give you Shannon Larkin. And welcome back to The Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show here on 97underground.com, Baltimore's Pure Rock Worldwide. And today we are here with Shannon Larkin. I tell you, if you're from the Maryland area especially, you're going to know this guy. Lots of great bands in this area. He was in Wrathchild America, when they had to change the name later on, Souls at Zero, Godsmack, and he's had some other really killer projects he's done over the years, and there's a number of things I want to be sure I ask that I think you all will find very interesting as well. So Shannon, welcome to the show. It's an honor to speak with you today, my friend. Good to have you.
Well, thank you, Michael. It's good to be here. Good.
Great. So being from this area here, Maryland, DC, West Virginia corridor, you grew up, and we're kind of in the same age group too. So, we remember a lot of the things that went on in those days. We remember a lot of the concert tours and probably listened to a lot of the same stuff growing up and everything too. So tell us what you have going on now. You've kind of, I guess, reconnected with some past bandmates, and you're working on you've done some shows. So tell us what you got.
Yeah. So the year before last was my 23rd year in the band Godsmack. Mm-hmm. And I still love that band, still love Sully and Robbie. But
I'm sure.
What happened was I just have been touring since I was 16. Mm. And so to do the math, it had been 40 years, I've realized, since I've been on the road, and with 4 different bands. Wrathchild America was first. Then I joined Ugly Kid Joe for 7 years. Then I did Amen, which was a punk band from LA, for 6 years. Mm-hmm. And then I did Godsmack for 23 years. And in those times, it was complete devotion to each band. So that means family, friends, dogs, fish, turtles, everything that you love is put in the rearview mirror when the phone rings, right? Mm-hmm. And you got to leave. And and I always said, and my old school friends will know this, that, I would probably retire from music um, at the height of my game. It's
Mm-hmm.
always been a thing that I've wanted to do so that I don't grow old and feel trapped in a business that I've been doing all my life.
Sure,
So
sure,
I
sure.
feel like I have other reasons for being on this planet than just being the drummer.
Mm-hmm.
And so Tony Rombola, the guitarist of Godsmack, and I, this was 3 years ago, we're doing a tour in America somewhere. And it was April 24th, and I had turned 57 that day. And incidentally, the band Godsmack officially signed me to the band on April 24th, 20 years prior to me turning 57 on April
Mm-hmm.
24th. And I realized, wow, so I'm turning 57 and celebrating my 20-year anniversary with this band. And it hit me how fast those 20 years went by. And and Tony and I were just like, wow, 20 years it's been since you joined. It felt like, I don't know, a year, 5 years, I don't know. It didn't feel like 20 years. 20 years flew by.
Feels like yesterday, huh?
Yeah, well, and they say time flies when you're having fun. And I
Yeah.
had so much fun, and I always loved touring. It wasn't, but then we realized, like, wow. And we went on Grok, and I looked up the average age of death in America for males, and it was 77.
Mm-hmm.
20 years. I just turned 57. And I said, oh my God, I'm not. I'm not dying at 77. I'll live to 103, I've been told.
Hmm.
But I was thinking if I did die at the average age of 77
Mm-hmm.
from this day, from this moment, then I got 20 years left on the planet. And this past 20 has gone by, like I said, like snap of a finger. And do I want to be a rock star for the rest of my life?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and all that entails. It's not all just, you know, groupies and below or whatever everybody thinks being a rock star is. It's not
Mm-mm.
that. Maybe 1987 it was.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
but it's still the best job in the world. And I wasn't bumming on it
Mm-hmm.
yet. That would come a couple years later after I feel my mind that night was kind of made up when I had that realization. It was like an epiphany that I have other mountains to climb. I want to write, I want to paint, I want to do all this shit. I want to produce, I want to direct. I want to do lots of stuff in my life. And so I figured to be in a band like Godsmack, firstly, and to make it, less than 1% of us even get a record deal, let alone sell 12 million records. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I figured if I and I loved it, by the way. I want to make that clear too. I loved it because I'm not retired.
Right.
I had other mountains to climb. That's all I can say because and Tony felt the same way. And Tony Rombola is a little older than me, like 3 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's hit the 60s and stuff. And he's like, man, I never envisioned myself being a rock star when I'm 60. You know what I mean? And so anyway, we kind of made the decision a few years ago that, we'll definitely honor the last record and not quit. It's not only very unprofessional, but it's a total dick move to your brothers in a band. We're like brothers, and
Mm-hmm.
you and so we weren't going to quit. So we did. We stayed around until the whole Lighting Up the Sky tour was finished. And you know, some people like to say, "Oh no, they," because technically the tour in which Sully and Robbie took Will Hunt and Sam Colton,
Mm-hmm.
which was a European tour, we had quit in October the year before that. And so some fans think like we screwed them and quit before the tour or last minute. No, that tour was in its starting phases, and Sully was saying we got to go to Europe and all that. But we quit before that tour. And so I just wanted to get that out there too. It's some inside skinny. That's some inside skinny right there.
Yeah.
Because I think the fans thought we kind of quit after the tour was booked, and we didn't. So we had let Sully and the band know also, Sully and Robbie, that was the band, months and months and months before that, which Sully talks about now as, some of the rough times where he felt bitter because we're on tour and then he knows we're leaving and everybody's trying to keep it quiet, but all the crew knew, everybody knew. So, we were counting down the shows at that point. And then as that progressed, it became kind of like, oh, they're retiring. And
right.
And I'm thinking in my mind, this kid ain't retiring yet. I don't want to tour and be at the mercy of being a rock star, which is when the phone rings. That's what I was going to say earlier. Like, if you make it in this business, it's because of dedication. And like, I dedicated my life to Godsmack. It's not you. Sully and Robbie and Tony would all say the same, and anybody who worked for us. Like, that was our life, and I just felt after 22 years that I was not going to let it be my life anymore. And unfortunately, fortunately for the fans and for Sully and Robbie, but they are a touring band. So now I will tell you my history. I wanted to get the Godsmack thing clear because, obviously, that's the band and they're still huge, by the way. I've headlined festivals for 20 years. But and so it wasn't like everybody thought, oh, you could just quit. Well, no, it was not easy thing to do to walk away from rock stardom and millions of dollars. And so what I'm doing now is Tony and I got the Another Animal back together with Wick Crane, and Robbie, of course, can't do it because he's touring constantly with Godsmack, right? So we got Wick Crane, my singer from Ugly Kid Joe, my guy, the best singer on the planet, Whit. And then we replaced Robbie Merrill from Godsmack with Brian Carpenter. And we put the Another Animal, me and Tony and Lee Richards, who's the original guitarist for Godsmack, wrote Keep Away. So me and Tony, Lee, and myself, I use correct grammar. So Tony, Lee, and myself called Whit, and I got Brian in the band, and we made a record. And right now, I'm looking at management, and I'm going to put this record out. And I don't care what record label, because it's done. We don't need money. We don't need fame, a fortune. We've all seen that in different bands. And so it's all about this music that I'm super happy about. And then before that, so last year, our first year of retirement, Tony and I made 4 records. And so I did Spirit Wheel, which Tony only played a couple songs on that one because it's my Spirit Wheel is out. I got to say it. No one's heard it. I said, and my main thing, even in Wrathchild, and my Baltimore people listen to this will remember there was a band, I can't even say our name. It was a punk band we used to play around Baltimore. I'll say KP Triple X, but we had we had a hardcore name. If I say that on this, and all of a sudden we get flagged or something when it wasn't that, but it was that. You know what I mean? Like it was against that, but we were punk, and at the time, punk rock. You would be as offensive as possible. And we thought, what's the most offensive thing on the planet? That. And so we named our band that we can't even talk and say it now. But anyway, played with Agnostic Front in Baltimore at some little club. We played punk shows. Anyway, that turned into MF Pitbulls. And the MF is another thing I can't say. But anyway, so all my punk metal bands had that thing. My point is the whole time I had Wrathchild. Yeah. So as Godsmack was on for the last 20 years, Tony and I have a blues band and then a psychedelic rock blues band, kind of. And we have the Another Animal and Spirit Wheel. So 4 bands.
Mm-hmm.
And so last year, on our first year of so-called retirement, we went to the studio. We wrote, recorded. Two of them are mixed and mastered. Two of them were just waiting. And I self-released Spirit Wheel. And so if I can give that a plug, you can't get it on Spotify or iTunes or Google
Uh-huh.
Music, Amazon Music. It's a self-released thing, and it's because it's trippy, psychedelic rock.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to my YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
there's a link, and you can click on it, and it takes you to a little store that sells my record, and
Okay.
it's called Spirit Wheel. And my YouTube channel is called Shannon Larkin's Inside Skinny Productions. And I'm skinny. So
I'm
Shannon
not.
Larkin, yeah. Well, like people call me Apocalypse, or they call me Triple X, or they call me the Kid, and they like to call me Octopus.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they call me Skinny. I
Mm.
wonder why.
Yeah.
But
I've
anyway,
never
so
had that problem.
yeah, well, that's okay. Hey, man, I'll tell you this, like I tell most people, if you were skinny like me all your life,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd be richer if I had a dime for every time somebody said, "Get that man a cheeseburger" or whatever. It was a constant thing in my life, even walking around backstage, whatever. Oh, you need a cheeseburger when people would
Mm-hmm.
meet me or whatever, and I'm like, "Oh, thanks." I've heard that. I've never heard that one before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, it's
But when I
hard.
walk back, people will always say hide the cheeseburgers. So that was like the
Yeah,
difference. Like,
yeah. And that's what I was gonna say though, man. It's so much, it's so hard, and you want us real skinny people, especially when I was a kid
mm-hmm.
trying to go out for the football team, and I was like 90 pounds or something. Everybody's like, "Yeah, you're gonna get killed out there." So I'm eating 4 baked potatoes in between my meals and all this
Mm-hmm.
shit. But anyway, it's hard to gain weight too, and it's
Yeah.
probably, I bet it's harder to gain weight than lose weight. But as we get old,
Mm-hmm.
then you feel blessed for being thin. I used to,
Yes. Yeah.
because all your joints and the weight, your actual weight on all your joints and back, everything. So you get a little better if you
Yeah.
lose weight. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But so now we're off on the weight thing, but it's because Inside Skinny Productions, and you have to type my name in with an apostrophe S. So Shannon Larkin's Inside Skinny Productions, and that'll take you to my channel on YouTube. And then you have to click on view channel for
Mm-hmm.
some reason. Like you go to my channel, and I guess that's hey, Mike, I'm just still learning all this crap. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't,
Yeah.
I did 85% of Godsmack's press over 20 years. Because
Mm-hmm.
when I joined the band, so he's like, "Hey man, can you do the press, radio, and all that shit?" Because I don't like to do it. And I have so much else. I do everything else in the band. So I said, "Yes, sir." So like my days off on tour for the last 2 decades have been, yeah, I can go out and walk around and maybe see the Eiffel Tower or wherever city we're in. But mostly I have a 2 to 3 hour block that I would have to sit and call radio stations and call press. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
so, and I never minded it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's something that, but well, what was my point? We were talking about. I had a point to that.
You always
Um,
did the press.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
always at the press, and but that made me no, I did have a point. But anyway, back to the story. I'll go back to this story because it's all, if
Sure.
people
Yeah.
if people care about the history. But and so what's the Wrathchild thing? We signed to Atlantic Records 1988. Oh, that's what I was talking about, the side project. So MF Pitbull's a KP band, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had side projects. Then I flash forward, but it was Wrathchild, Ugly Kid Joe,
Mm-hmm.
Amen, Godsmack. And then Godsmack walked away. Now it's Spirit Wheel on Shannon Larkin's Inside Skinny Productions.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Right.
Oh,
Right.
and it's not easy to get. That's where I was going. It's not easy to get because I used to have this thing, and like I was underage, and I always just loved music from a young age. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and I knew at the mall there was a Waxy Maxis, and they had like an import section, and I'd get all my music there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I'd be like, I'd have to ask all my older friends and my sister a lot to take me to Hagerstown, which was a half hour from where I lived,
Mm-hmm.
where there was a record store that with records that I wanted, right? And so I'd usually have to wait, to the weekend when somebody could take me that
Mm-hmm.
had a license. And then
Yeah.
they'd take me to their store. I'd be so excited. I'd be talking about it to my friends at school all week. I'm gonna get the new Kiss record or whatever, Aerosmith, whatever album it
Mm-hmm.
was. You know what I mean? And then I'd get there, hope it's there. I get it, I buy it. I'm on the way home. I'm so excited. It was creating all this excitement inside somebody,
Mm-hmm.
that person, me. And then like, yeah, I might, get home. I'd wait to open it till I got home. I'm hoping there's lyrics and pictures of the band
Yeah.
inside.
Mm-hmm.
And then man, take it out, put that disc on, but you drop the needle, and it's something unforgettable. And 90% of the time, it didn't let you down. It's this
Mm-hmm.
new 45 minutes of this trip that I would take with these unicorns, these bands, like they weren't even real to me, and so I was trying to recreate some kind of. You can't just go on iTunes and go, and then you get my songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care about selling a lot, so I was able to just self-release it. And I found a guy, Joe Wright, who has Right Rock Sportswear, and he's like he sells merch and all kinds of stuff at Right Rock. And so for 10%, he said, "Yeah, I'll sell your music." And so I have some shirts too, t-shirts too on there. And so I said, well, okay. He's like, "What do you want to sell it for?" I'm like, "I feel like 5 songs for $6 is fair." And so it's a 5-song EP and
Mm-hmm.
it's $6. It's actually $5.99, but with
Mm-hmm.
shipping it ends up being like $6.42. I don't know. But
So yeah,
it's
right,
cheap.
right.
It's cheaper than a cup of coffee, man. And so
Mm-hmm.
I figure, if people can make the effort, like I used to have to wait for my sister and then get a ride to the mall and come back and, whatever. I was just trying to recreate some kind of effort for
Mm-hmm.
people. And then you'll get to the reward, which is 5 songs that we poured our souls and hearts into, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just it's not made for the radio or whatever. And so anyway, that happened. It's out there. People are interested in that. They can go to that. My spot, pay $6. And by the way, when you get it, it doesn't go on your iTunes, it doesn't go anywhere except for on your phone. So it
Oh.
goes, so you go, like if you pay the $6 and then, you use your card and then it says download now and you click the button and it goes onto your files on your phone,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty rad. Then you just go to that, hit your files, and then you see the record cover. And yeah, I mean, it still sucks for me because I'm old school in that way, and the art, and so it's just a little thumbnail
Yeah,
of
yeah.
of the logo. That's what you get now. And so, and you could order records, but a lot of times you have to order 100 or something. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if I'll sell 100 records. I might have 50 records sitting in my garage or whatever. And I'm too old to go out and send the stuff myself. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like,
Right, right,
so
right.
so what I realized is that I'm not a record label, and my whole thing too, it was a rebellious act at 58 years old to jump out of the machine.
Right. Yeah.
It's been so good to me, this machine.
Mm-hmm.
And and so I said no management, no agent. I have no record label. I have no well, I do have a business manager. I kept my business manager. I'm not dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a drummer, but I'm not dumb. So all you need is a business manager. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it turns out that's not all you need
Mm-hmm.
because nobody's buying the record, and all I want really is people to hear it. And so I try and spread it, as I talk to folks like you,
Mm-hmm.
and just tell people, look, it's music from the heart, and I know if you're open-minded to music, and it's not like it's Frank Zappa either, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
it's just not like everybody else on the radio that I hear, and that's on purpose, like
Mm-hmm.
trying to be different. So it's alternative. That's what they used to call it. It's alternative music in a
Mm-hmm.
world where mainstream music's alternative. And so, you know how lines are always drawn like that. Everybody has to classify it, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so it's unclassifiable, Spirit Wheel. Check that out. But
Mhm,
another animal, then I realized as I jumped out of the machine that another animal's different and it can live and has lived 17 years ago as a one-off side project. We put out another animal record
mhm,
on Universal and made it to in the top 10, got to number 6 at Active Rock,
mhm.
on the charts.
Oh,
And
great.
then yeah, and then Godsmack put our record 4 out straight to number 1
Mhm,
on Billboard's top 200, and our first single, Speak, went number 1 at Rock.
mhm,
And so the animal was done.
mhm.
And Whit did Ugly Kid Joe and went back to his band. Lee Richards was in a band called Dropbox, and we did Godsmack for the next 3 years. That was a successful record.
Mhm,
The more successful the record, the longer you tour and are away from everything. So Another Animal, which was started as a one-off, went away for
mhm.
17 years as the locust flies. And we got back together last year and made this fantastic record, and I'm so proud of it. But back in the machine for the old kid. So I've already reached out, to managers who I love, and uh particularly one I'm trying to get. But and then I'll deal with uh jumping back in the pond of at least I don't have to jump in the big. I'm not trying to get a major deal.
Right, right, right.
I don't want a major deal. I wanted to self-release this, man,
Mhm,
but you can't do it. Then my accountant's telling me, or my business manager, my accountant, he telling me, man, you. He's like, dude, focus on your strengths. What do you have?
mhm.
Blues bands and psychedelic bands, and Another Animal. That's where, and he loves everybody I played for. It's really great
Yeah.
because Whit Crane, his voice, he's just and Tony Wright and I write pretty good songs, and so it's the thing that I feel should be heard by
Mhm.
like Godsmack fans. For instance, there's millions
Yep.
of Godsmack fans. 300,000 Godsmack fans hit our website, their website,
Mhm.
uh, still a week, and so you know and by the way, like I've never tried to go on there and get Godsmack fans for Spirit Wheel. It's not it's not like that. It's meant to be underground, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the animal is, and another animal will go right back to rock radio
Mhm.
where it should be. And it's heavy, but it's melodic, and it's just something else, I feel. And I feel like the world needs to hear it. And I feel that even though I kind of don't care because I'm trying to. I've lived in the spotlight for 20 years and been a rock star, what I always dreamed of. So now I really want to make music as an artist for the purpose of making music.
Right, right.
And so, which is selfish, right? So
Mhm.
because I have 4 other dudes in my band, it's Spirit Wheels. That's my solo project. It is, and I wrote every note of every song. And so, uh, with the Another Animal thing, there's 4 other guys: Brian Carpenter, Lee Richards, Tony Rumbola, and Whit Crane,
Mhm.
and they deserve to be heard. And so, Another Animal will be out probably. I'm going to do this quick too. I'm not messing around. I have connections from my glorious past, right? Whatever. But I know managers, I know labels. I'll call people. Like I said, I'm not trying for money and a big deal. I don't care. But what I need is distribution and promotion. Promote the thing. I don't know what to do. And
Mhm.
you can hire companies that do this shit, excuse me, do this
Yep.
stuff. And but I figure if I do that, like I could self-release and hire
Mhm.
a publicist, right? And hire an
Mhm.
accounting firm. By the way, you have to report every song to ASCAP and
Yep.
BMI for publishing rights. You have to every
Mhm.
time it gets played on the radio, and it's a and when say I sell it, 5 songs for $6, right?
Mhm.
Well, guess what? Now I split everything. I don't care if it's Spirit Wheel. I wrote every song. I split it equally with my 4 band members.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how a band should be run. That's how Wrathchild was run and Ugly Kid Joe.
Yep.
And so, like, the bands I like to be in, Godsmack was different.
Mm-hmm.
I joined that band. They'd already sold 7 million records. So it wasn't like I was joined as an equal member. They did
Sure,
put
yeah.
I came in, though, as a member after 1 year. But anyway, back to the putting out records thing. Well, it has to be the money has that $6 has to go to the accounting firm, which then, and I have 4 different bands. See, so like if I put out Spirit Wheel, Another Animal, Blue Cross, and the Apocalypse Blues Revival, right?
Mm-hmm.
In 1 year, and say, which this isn't going to happen now, but this was my plan. I sell them all 5 songs for $6, EPs, right? That first year.
Yep.
And then meanwhile, Tony and I are writing and recording the second release.
Mm-hmm.
So like if one does decent and then starts to taper off, then bang, we drop another 5-song EP on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, I've got, the animal out. But anyway, it was a big plan that I felt was genius. But
Mm-hmm.
it's also a pipe dream, I find out.
Right.
Because
Shannon, we're coming up on a hard break. Can you stick around after the break to finish up with us?
Oh, yeah, man.
Okay, sure. Hey, folks, you're listening to the Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show. We'll be back right after the break with more from Shannon Larkin. Stick around, folks. Go. All right, folks, thanks for sticking around. We're back on the Back of the Rack with Shannon Larkin. And Shannon, this has been absolutely fascinating. I love listening to you're just talking about your career, this history and all these things you've been involved with. And we love you. We love you here in Baltimore.
Well, I love y'all too. I love y'all too, man. And I love Baltimore. And I tell you what, I am a proud Martinsburg, West Virginian. And I always say, and Baltimore was an hour and a half from Martinsburg as the crow flies. And DC and Baltimore are like my home cities when I'm on tour. I always come through DC or Baltimore. I'm like, I'm home.
Yeah.
So I love you. I love y'all too, man.
Right. Well, it's always great to have you and everything, and I know that you've got a new thing now, coming to Hagerstown in the not too distant future on the I believe it's the 27th of June. Is that correct?
Yes, Hub City Vinyl is the club,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen it. I've been in there for vinyl. I love shopping at Hub City, and it was a great. I mean, it's been a couple years, and I have not seen the club area, but Brad Divens, my brother, the singer, bass player of the Bees. And he said it's fantastic. And, I don't know how well it's selling, but I know there's still some tickets. And we're excited because the 2 shows the Bees have done have been theater shows, charity events. And the charities, ironically, were all sober men. So I'm California sober, meaning I smoke pot, and I'll say that right on the air. It's legal where I live anyway. And where you live? Yeah, it's legal there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I smoke pot, but it wasn't pot that was ruining my life and killing me. It was alcohol, right?
Sure. Yeah.
I found myself in rehab 10 years ago. And
that's tough.
And so, but anyway, the good news is it works, rehab, right? So I come out, man, and I toured for another 8 years with Godsmack and carried on with backstage parties to everybody banging shots. Hey, everybody want a shot? Same dude. But I didn't drink anymore and was still
right.
But that's so happiness is inside, and that's truth, man. Like you don't. And so I found happiness inside. So anyway, these events were charity events, and that said, it was the beautiful Maryland Theater and people sitting in theater seats. And so, they clap really good. And, but this is a bar and there are going to be people standing at a waist high stage right in front of the band, hopefully ready to party. And a bunch of people, drinking and partying to a live band is what the 4 of us grew up doing in that area.
Yeah.
Playing bars like the Mountain View, the Old Mill Inn, Shugs. We played the Rabbit's Foot. We had to work our way up to your Network and Sandbar Network and Seagull, and
Mm-hmm.
we played the Coast to Coast, man. We did, and then we ended up the Mighty Hammerjacks when, but that was the last step where if you're headlining Hammerjacks back then, you're the big band in town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? But it all started down there in West Virginia, Martinsburg. We play in Winchester.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, so this is the Hub City Vinyl is a special show for Brian Forsythe, Bob, Brad, and myself, because we're going to be sweaty up with the people. And like I said, we're a cover band,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what it was, a charity event. We don't like, it's not like we're taking ourselves too seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's
Mm-hmm.
something that we can have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, man. And this time we'll get paid. How about that?
Yeah, hey,
I
that's
mean,
nothing wrong with that.
you know
I've
how
never
much,
turned that away.
and it's a club, 1,000 seater. Like we charge way more for tickets at a charity event and
Mhm.
raised $50,000,
Hey,
which
wonderful.
saving three sober homes.
Mm-hmm.
And each one, 5 sober people can live in. And so it's a lot of lives, that we literally saved. And that's pretty cool, man. Rock and
Right,
roll, you know
right.
what I mean?
That's the
Um,
kind of charity at what Ladders to Leaders, I think you had mentioned. Was that the benefit that you were talking about?
yes, 2 of them.
Two
Yep.
of them. Okay. And Ladders to Leaders is an organization that is like helps people with recovery or something.
Yes, it is. It
Okay.
certainly is. And they've run now after the first event
Mm-hmm.
at the Maryland Theater, we saved the 3 and then had enough money left over to open a 4th sober home, which is still open. And then the next year, so it's the thing is a lot of people, unlike myself,
Mm-hmm.
I found it in rehab and I found inner happiness, right? But a lot of people can't go back, I guess, out into the world and live amongst the alcohol and whatever. It could be drugs too,
Sure, sure. Yeah. Anything that's there, any addiction, I'm sure they cover it or, treat it or, help it.
Yeah. And you're surrounded by people living in a house with people that are all fighting the same demons, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
it's much better and easier for a person like that to be in a sober home. So sober homes are a big thing,
Mm-hmm.
in the community of the whole AA community. And that's which I'm a part of, by the way,
Right, 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 right.
Um and so anyway, it's for us, um well, and it's not like we're falling off the wagon, but to play in front of drunk people
Mm-hmm.
partying with you is funner than playing the big event of you know
Mm-hmm.
of people there for this righteous cause. So, but we're all rock and rollers, you know what I mean, and grew up on it, and so I'm excited to be that close and play a club again that will hopefully pack full of people ready to party and who knows, it'll be a loud, raucous crowd, I'm
Mm-hmm.
predicting. And we're playing all kind of cool cover songs, man. Like we don't mess around on that.
Mm-hmm.
It's all the stuff we played growing up. All
Oh,
4 of
yeah.
them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I first saw Brad Divens in a band called Wrathchild at the Mountain View Inn. I was like 14. I got a
Mm-hmm.
picture of me on stage at 14, a kid, and Brad, and he's just barely in the picture, but you can totally see his arm, and it's Brad. Uh, and I had jumped up and gotten, they let me get up. I was 14 years old and they let me get on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Donnie Spence was their drummer, Rat Salad. And Donnie's like, get that kid up here, and I went and played the AC/DC song with Brad Divens when I was 14. He wouldn't join my band until 2 years later when I was 16. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember I ran to school and I was in ninth grade,
Mm-hmm.
and I told everybody, I was like, we got the guy from Kicks, Brad. We got Brad from Kicks, because Kicks had got Brad. And then
Mm-hmm.
before the record even drops, they got Ronnie back,
Mm-hmm.
They had
Yeah.
put,
Yeah.
put Ronnie on ice, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he was in the big house. No,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, man. Oh, but anyway, the 27th
Mm-hmm.
come and see us, the Bees, and you can go on iTunes. We have a song called Just a Shout Away. That just happened. Like all of a sudden, we're like, Brad's like, hey, why don't we have one song, write one song, and then we can promote like shows that we play in the future with the one song, you know? And so Bob and Brad got to work, and then they sent me the song just to a click track so that I wouldn't be influenced by like a drum machine or something, you know? And so I came with the beats to the song, and then Brian Forsythe flew in from Nashville to Brad's house and did this wicked slide work on it. And it turned out, man, it reminds me, it's a little Stones, a little Tom Petty, and a little Skinnerd in there, man.
Sure.
With Brad Divens of Wrathchild's voice, like he sounds like exactly like he used to sing. It's crazy, you know, because we aren't exactly that young anymore.
Sure. Yeah, he's great. And you know, Brian, I've interviewed Brian a few times, and he's a hell of a nice guy. Just very easy to talk to, very easy to interview, just like you are, you know. I mean, you're doing my work for me here, my friend. You know, I really appreciate that. But it's like, yeah, I never had to pull teeth to get anything out of him. Just a nice guy, and that's a man who loves his steak and duck eggs too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's a big he posts his dinner a lot on Facebook because we're friends, and he's always got his duck eggs and a steak.
Yeah,
And
big
you know,
steak. He's a meat guy, man. And
he is.
I tell you this, so we were rehearsing last year before the second charity event. And I was like, Brad, you got any like I need a shot of something. You got any like breakfast granola bars or something, you know? We had like a 2.5 hour set last year too. So I'm like, you got the granola bars or anything? And he's, oh man, I don't. I can send somebody out. I go, no, it's all right. And Forsythe is all, I got these meat bars.
Meat
And
bars.
He goes, but people.
Where have I been? They have meat bars.
He goes, people don't like them usually, you know, because the bone and everything, they just grind like I guess the cow up. There's bone in it and all this shit. And
Never heard
and
of
I
such
said,
a
well,
thing.
and
That's
I was
great.
like, it's damage, you know. And I'm like, well, yes, I'll try it, and I'll eat it. And man, I put that thing in. I was like, and everybody's looking at me. I'm like, no, nope. It tastes like I don't know, a piece of chalk, maybe. I don't know. But it had, I didn't like it. And I felt embarrassed because I was like, I was gonna make myself eat it because damage gave it to me.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna eat the whole damn thing, whether I like it or not. But
You
I
don't want to
could
seem
not.
ungrateful, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I know that, you know, you don't just see these in 7-Eleven. And Brian's like, he like takes all the fat, like any fat, when we made big steaks and stuff, like he takes all the fat off the steak and he'll put it in plastic bags and put it in the freezer to like, I don't know, cook his eggs in that fat or whatever and not like store bought or whatever. So he's like, I don't know what you call him, carnivore, but I don't think.
Yeah, carnivorous. Yeah, carnivorous.
But no, but I mean, yeah. But I mean, but I don't think he eats anything else. What I'm trying to say, I think it's
Right.
only meat, like
Strictly carnivore. Yeah, he's not an omnivore or an herbivore. Right. Yeah, there we go.
I'm an omnivore carnivore.
Yeah, me too. Me, I'm an omnivore that leads towards carnivory or carnivorous.
Yeah.
A guy who eats other things but meat, but prefers meat. There we go. Right.
Yeah, we swing both ways.
Yeah. Oh man, this is great. Well, Shannon, I appreciate you coming and spending time with us here on 97underground.com. You know, you were on our first album, The Beast from the East, I believe, right? With Wrathchild.
I have it in my collection.
Oh, good. You know, those are rare nowadays. Yeah. Those are rare. They're collector's items. And we actually still have a few left that we sell at shows and events and things like that. But you're still on there. And I've had a lot of the people on that lineup come back and do shows because some of them are still doing music now, you know, like Scarlet Angel. You know, of course, you know, I've had, you know, Shockwave was another band that was on there. Greg Sinners is a He's contributed a lot of songs that I've played on the show. I really like to, and one thing I like to do, since we have such a great pool of talent in this area and such history, I dedicate at least a quarter of my show, at least a half hour, if not an hour, to bands from this area. I call it my Mid-Atlantic Music Marathon whenever I play it. And it's people who are active now or people who have been active in the past. I've definitely spun some Wrathchild, some Kicks. I've had, Ronnie, he's given me some blues vultures to play, but then there's a lot of other great ones out there too that are
Hey, play
putting out
Spirit
great
Wheel.
stuff. But yeah, I'll do it. Well, it's
The
just
song
asking you
3,
shall receive, my friend,
song 3, Gabriel.
Yeah.
And I put it for free on my YouTube channel, by the way. You can just listen to it before
Yeah.
you spin it. It's the most palatable, I feel, the most like rock, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
And Tony Rombola played on it, by the way.
Oh, great.
And
Yeah.
so, but here's a cool thing. On the 5-song EP of Spirit Wheel, Terry Carter of Wrathchild played 4 of the 5 songs.
Oh, is
I
that?
got, yeah, and I don't have a guitar player. I just get my friends who happen to be Terry Carter and Tony Rombola. I had Peter Klett jam from Candlebox. I had Benny Goodman and Corey Pazza from Boston. These cats from Lost Symphony, and
Yeah.
I just have friends play the guitar. But on 4 out of 5 is Terry Carter, and
That's
everybody in
awesome.
Baltimore knows Terry Carter.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, again, thank you for coming and joining us today. It's been a real pleasure. And I tell you, I feel like we could talk for hours, and you definitely have to come back sometime. I definitely got to get you on again. This has just been a real pleasure, and I've enjoyed speaking with you today. It's just been a real great thing. So, folks, remember, the Bees will be at Hub City Vinyl in Hagerstown, Maryland on the 27th. And tickets are available, I believe, on their website. Check out Spirit Wheel, Another Animal, Shannon Larkin's Inside Skinny Productions on YouTube. And I tell you, I know just looking through your bio and everything, I'm sure you could probably fill us in with tons more stories, and we definitely got to make it a point to get together again.
I do want to say one last thing.
Certainly, go for it.
On iTunes for 99 cents, The Bees, and we made a song, Just a Shout Away.
Oh, okay.
So,
and that's on there as well. Okay.
It's on iTunes.
Okay. Right. Yeah, on iTunes. Right. That's what I was saying.
Yep.
On iTunes.
It's not on Inside Skinny. That was Brad and Bob got it, mixed it and put it on iTunes. So get the Bees song for $1.
The Bees for $1. There you go, folks.
The Bees for $1.
There you go.
Spirit Wheel, 5 songs for $6. Right. So that's what we're selling, but it's all music from the heart, brother. And thanks for having me on. And yeah, man, we will talk again. I'd love to come back.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, folks. We've had Shannon Larkin. Get out and check out the Bees at Hub City Vinyl on the 27th. And we'll be back right after these words. You're listening to The Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show here on 97underground.com. Don't go anywhere. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in and listening, and hope you enjoyed today's interview. Remember, The Back of the Rack is on every Monday from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern, and our replay is every Wednesday morning from 2 to 4 a.m. Eastern Time on 97underground.com, Baltimore's Pure Rock worldwide. You can download our free app and listen anytime, anywhere. Also, don't forget our YouTube channel. Hit the like and subscribe button and allow for notifications so you'll be the first to know whenever new episodes air. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Log on and crank it up. The station your mother warned you about. 97underground.com.